Welcome to Shop Talk by Elevated Stylists, a podcast for the thriving community of salon owners and stylists where we discuss topics in business, wellness, mindset, and more. Join us on this journey and become an elevated stylist. Hello, welcome to episode 10 of Shop Talk. This is a very special episode. Today we're talking with money coach Misty Jayne. She is making waves in the industry and being transparent and creating boundaries and budgets for hairstylists. In today's episode, we talk about how we view money, what our money fears are, and she gives us some tips and tricks on how we can get started on giving ourselves the tools to have a successful relationship with money. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We are so looking forward to bringing this to Shop Talk.
Okay, so Misty, we'll get right into it. I wanted to really touch base on how salon owners can get out of debt and how they can earn profit and all that sort of stuff, because I know that that's what you really focus on. So if you want to just start off by telling a little bit about yourself and what you what you do, because that's kind of what I know about you, but I'd love to hear your version of what you do.
Yep. So my name is Misty Jayne. I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I have been a stylist behind the chair for 18 years. Back in 2016, I was in a commission salon. I was a new mom, and I was in a shit ton of debt. I can cuss, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just checking. I was in a lot of debt, and not even business debt, just personal debt. And I was overworked. I constantly felt broke, even though I was bringing in a good amount of money. And it was that year that I decided it was time to change my financial situation. So I changed my money story. I changed the habits that I had around money. I changed the way I viewed money. And me and my husband got ourselves out of debt. We created an emergency fund. We moved into a neighborhood we never thought we could move into. And I ended up going out on my own as an independent stylist. So a couple years ago, I realized that nobody talks about the financial health at home in the salon industry. You know, everyone talks about upping the income and making so much money, but nobody talks about what do you do when you bring it home? And I know too many stylists who make six figures and they just feel broke. They bring it home and they just don't know what to do with it. So now I'm a money coach for hairstylists. So we talk a little bit about business, but honestly, I really focus on managing your money in your personal life, because I feel like once you can manage your money in your personal life and you have healthy relationship with money at home, that it just bleeds into your business, whether you're a commission stylist or an independent stylist or a salon owner. That's pretty much the story.
Yeah, no, I think we can all relate to that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's like anything else too.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you're doing something for yourself, it will always pour into your business. It's not the other way around, because you have to change yourself in order to change the other things that you struggle with. So I love that approach that you take with money.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about growth, and you have to do it, like you said, internally first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that as stylists, we make so much cash that it just kind of comes in and out of our hand, and you don't even notice that extra tip money at the end of the month is a big source of revenue that literally just floats in and out of our hands when we could really be doing something amazing with it.
Absolutely. I mean, you hear it far too often, I can't afford this or I can't afford that, when it comes to education, when it comes to things that you need for your business or things that you want to do in your life or your business. But you're going out to eat all the time, or you're, doing all these things. You're not paying attention to where your money is going. I don't like to use going out to eat, even though that's most people's spending triggers. But because it's not necessarily about not spending, it's about not wasting. We waste so much money on a daily basis and we do not even realize it. And then we always think we can afford something, but sometimes just sitting down and looking at what's actually going on can just open your eyes to what it is that you want and how you can get there. A lot of times we're just too scared to look.
Mm-hmm.
So true. It's so true. Cause it's like, you're like, oh shit, I just spent like, $600 last month going out on fancy dinners, or I bought like these shoes that I didn't need, or, I over splurged on whatever vacations and things. It's like, I think too, though, in this society, I think credit is like kind of puts us backwards in a sense, because it's funny money. And you think that like, oh, I'll just like pay for this now and then pay for it later. And it's like, yeah, but you're paying for it later in so many
Right.
ways.
Well, and I'm not against credit cards by any means, but I think you have to have a healthy relationship with money before you start using them. Because I was definitely raised where if you have good credit, you can buy anything. So I was constantly swiping the card, buying the cars I didn't need, doing all of the things. And then one day I woke up and I had $48,000 in debt that I didn't even know where it came from. And I didn't even know that I had that much because I never sat down and just added it up. I think that we always just think, well, we can afford the minimum payment, so we can afford it. But the pandemic kind of put it all in perspective, right? Like, what if one day you can't afford it? I mean, seeing stylists after 2 weeks saying that they don't know how they're going to pay their bills, it just makes me sad. We have a beautiful, beautiful industry, and I want to normalize the wealthy stylist. And I really believe that it starts at home.
Awesome. What are some of like your key things to even beginning that process? Like, what does that look like?
Sitting down, when I start working with somebody, the first thing I ask them to do is sit down and pull out all your bank statements, everything, your credit card statements for a whole month, your debit card, just literally everything, and start actually looking. Because a lot of times we always just look at the balance, but nobody actually looks at where your money is actually going. So sitting down and highlighting the things that are not necessities. And necessities are a roof over your head. They're how you get to work. They're your groceries. And everything else really is a non-necessity. So I know that when I sat down and did this for myself, when I started to change my money story, going out to eat, it was $600 a month. And I didn't even think about it because, what do you do? Friday nights, you go to Mexican, $50. Saturday nights, you go to a nice dinner, easily $100 minimum. Sunday, brunch. Right there is $600 a month. That isn't even including whatever is happening during the week. And the problem with that was half the time we were just going just to go. Like, it wasn't even a necessity. It wasn't something that the food was so amazing. And I would always say, well, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. But I'm spending $600 a month doing nothing. Like, I didn't need to do that. Like, I could easily just put $500 back into whatever, my bank account or whatever, just by not doing some of those things. So I think when we look at our money and we think about it, so for example, let's think about how many haircuts is it going to take to buy these pair of shoes, right? So like, you look at it that way and you go, okay, do I want to do 5 haircuts to get these expensive shoes? Maybe you do, but maybe you don't. I think when you think of money as doing a job, that's when it kind of just changes the perspective a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. It's like they say with the latte, right? If you like stop buying that latte every day, you end up saving $4 a day, times that by 5, that's $20 a week.
Yeah. Well, $27.40 a day is $10,000 a year.
That's crazy.
And when you think about it like that, because that's not that much, right? Like, it's so easy, especially for stylists, to put, $30 a day to the side. I mean, that's a really awesome vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And like $30, like, it's nothing really at the end of the day. That's like a tip from a couple clients.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So awareness is the number one thing. Like, you have to kind of see what's going on before you can decide to make changes. And I'm not big on restricting so much. Like, you've got things like Dave Ramsey where he's like, never use a credit card, never do these things. I'm big on awareness. So I want my clients to know what's going on and make their decisions based off of that. If you want to buy those expensive shoes, fine, but know what you're giving up to buy that and be okay with it. Because a lot of times we're just spending and we just have no idea where it's going. And then that's when you end up with where the hell did all my money go?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, are you a big person on like having multiple bank accounts so that you can transfer? And yeah.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that I tell all my clients to do is have their savings account in a completely different bank that it's extremely hard to get to. Like you want to have an account that it's easy to deposit, but you have to get in the car, drive to the bank to actually get the money out because you're more than likely going to forget about that money. Because a lot of times we have a savings account and we're like, oh crap, like again, I want to go out to eat. There's no money in this account. I'll just move over $50, you know? So that, yes, I'm very big about having buckets essentially of various accounts, keeping organized.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to that old like envelope jar type of a situation.
Yep.
Because I know like when we had just one revenue account, it was just a gaping hole of money coming in and out, and you don't see where the hell anything's going. Or, you know, when a bill comes in, you're like, oh, where did that money go? Like, how come I don't have it to pay it? So when we started separating all our accounts and giving it, like we have like a staff savings and like salon savings, tax savings, like we have separated it all into nice little organized piles so that when we do have these things come out, this is how it is. It's just there.
Exactly.
There's no stress. It takes the stress out of paying bills and looking at profit. It just takes the stress right away.
Do you implement profit first?
Absolutely.
Yes, that is my favorite. That's my go-to.
Yeah, that is the actual reason that I do my little ritual every Tuesday. So every Tuesday I go online, and that's when I will transfer all the money that needs to be transferred. And the first thing that I do is I transfer our profit, and that kind of gives me the initiative to do it every Tuesday, but also feel excited about it every Tuesday so that I can see that we have a little bit of a nest egg. Like it is the one reason that Sonia and I were able to kind of not feel so stressed over the last year is because we kind of started doing this a couple of years ago. So we felt okay about it, you know, but if we didn't do that, who knows where we would have been.
Right. And that's the beauty of it is again, just having systems and awareness, because I know for me, like sitting down and doing my bills, I actually enjoy now because I know that the money's there and I know, you know, where it's going to be and what it's going to be for. And it's like no longer a stressor, right? Like it's almost exciting. Like you're almost like proud of yourself every time because you're like, oh yeah, I can pay my bills and I don't have to wonder where the money's going to come from. Like a little pat on the back.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've heard from your clients or that you hear about money? And like, what are like some of the stories that you think we put those stories onto ourselves that prevents us from having like a healthy money relationship? Where do you think this stuff comes from?
I think it comes from how we were brought up 100%. I mean, I think, you know, quote unquote, I'm bad with money, quote unquote, I chose the wrong career. You know, well, I didn't grow up with money, so I can never have money. And these are things that I used to think. These were my limiting beliefs, you know. You know, for me, my house is a big part of my story because I used to drive around this neighborhood and think because I chose to be a hairstylist and because my husband didn't go to college and he's like also in a trade that we could not afford to be in this neighborhood. And I told myself that for years, and my clients have various stories and they tell themselves the same thing. And it's not until they realize that like you can change your daily habits. It doesn't have anything to do with like how much you're bringing in necessarily. It's what are you doing with the money that you're bringing in? So instead of saying I'm bad with money, say, you know, I'm working towards a healthier relationship with money. Like if you constantly believe that you're bad with it, then you're going to be shit with money. You know, if you think that your career can't give you the things that you want, then the career is never going to give you the things that you want. So I think that how we got brought up, I know a lot of my clients, their parents never talked about money with them. So I encourage, you know, I encourage money dates. I encourage money dates involving your kids. If you have kids old enough, you know, I mean, and sit down, hey, we're planning our spending for next month. Like, let's sit down together and talk about it and having more of an open conversation around money in general. I know me talking about this with my clients behind the chair has inspired my clients to change their money situation, or at least rethink what they are doing with their money. So I think just having the belief that it can't be changed and that your money story, you were born into your money story. I think that that's the biggest mindset shift that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think money is such a fear-based thing, because if we don't have it, we're nobody, we can't buy anything, we can't do anything, so I think that fear does definitely come from how we were raised, how we heard money being talked about and all that sort of stuff. But I think the most empowering thing is rewriting your money story and being able to imagine what your life is and what you can make it, because it really is what you make it. You kind of have to put some effort towards it and some systems in play.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that for me, that it was the number one thing I'm proud of besides my son, is getting out of debt and changing my money story, hands down. And I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all today if I wouldn't have done it. I would have never been an independent stylist. I would have never got into education. Like it was such a confidence boost, because it changes every aspect of your life. You don't even realize that it's going to do that. Money it's just an exchange of energy, and it's something you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. So you got to like it, and if you're constantly saying you hate money, it's like, well, money is going to hate you back.
Yep.
That's so true. In my affirmations in the morning, I always include a money affirmation, and like it's really helped a lot just to kind of understand where you stand with money, right? It's like, how do I view money, and what is the energy that I'm putting towards money? Because I like that you just said that money is energy, and it's an exchange of energy, because it's what we use. It's our currency, but energy is also our currency as well. And it's like, if you can get these two aligned together, then, and you can take action towards it. Because I feel like there's like a thing with manifestation, right? Everyone's like, oh, think about all the things that you want, manifest. And it's like, okay, but how are you going to manifest this? Like, you have to take action towards your manifestation. So I think one of the actions is like, getting a money affirmation that is something that speaks to your heart and that is aligned with what you want to do. Because some people think that money's evil, or like rich people are evil, or like you can't do great things with money. So getting aligned with your money affirmations that can bring a positive sense and energy towards your money can be a great start also, that will push you to changing your story. Because that's something that I did, and I was like, oh, I always thought money was evil. I thought that like rich people were, ignorant or arrogant. And it's like, changing that story really helped me understand the value of money and where it comes from and how it stands. So that's something that I think is so important to do for your money story.
Absolutely. Money can just enhance who you already are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a giver, you're just going to give more. If it doesn't necessarily change you. I mean, I guess it could if you won the lottery or something, but if you don't have a good relationship with money, you're probably going to lose that quickly anyway.
Isn't there a statistic around that people that usually do win the lottery, they go broke within like, I don't know, something like a year?
There is.
2 years? Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Like, if you can't manage a little amount of money, you're not going to be able to manage a big amount of money. Like, if you're blowing $600 a month, on going out to eat with a lower income, you're going to blow thousands of dollars a month with a higher income. It's the awareness and figuring out, your why and making your choices in that way are going to make a difference, no matter what what I'm making now and what my husband is making now is nowhere near what we were making when we got out of debt. Like we were making so much less when we did that. And I think that people always think, well, I need to up my income. It's going to change everything. And it's like, well, it's not going to change anything if you're not changing something within yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I like
that. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up a little bit here, and we always love ending our segments with a real tea. So it can be a truth, a tip, or something that you want to share with the community.
Let's normalize the wealthy stylist, and we have to do that. We have to start with ourselves. We have to create boundaries within our business. We have to learn how to manage our money. We have to change this narrative from the outside world of that hairstylists, are just stupid, play with hair all day. Like let's change that, and let's change it by getting serious about our finances, and getting serious about our business. Cause I know that we did get into this to be creative. But it's an amazing industry with, amazing women and men, that just can do beautiful things and be wealthy, and that's okay.
Yeah, I love that. Let's revolutionize the wealthy stylist.
Yes,
yeah, because we all rise together, right? Like when we're all doing well, the industry rises, and that's what we want. That's our mission, right?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank
So
you
if
so
anybody,
much.
if anybody's looking for any further advice or coaching to do with profit and or like handling your money situation, we're gonna tag Misty down below, and you guys can check her out or contact her through DM.
Thank you so much.
And can you just give us your Instagram? It's at?
Yep, it's at _ Misty Jayne _ and that's Jane with a Y.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your wisdoms. Happy money blessings to everybody.
Yes.
And stay tuned for more episodes of Shop Talk.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. For more ways to connect with us, please join our online community on the Mighty Network platform, a space to learn, grow, and connect.